What's up, brothers and sisters? Kunal here on the Mike Bulls on Wall Street. I apologize for the late video. My bootcamp class ran late. As you guys know, I teach class pretty much every night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's like the Lord, taxes, and bootcamp class. But we got a lot to talk about because the market itself had its third, decent-sized down day today. And, man, the action was a little bit nasty. Now, look, there were some green shoots in there. We gapped down quite a bit, and we were down about 2% at one point, and then the market did have an epic run, and it filled up about half the gap and came back into really some zones of love where, you had some major resistance levels, and then it kind of kerplunked into the bottom here. Now, I wouldn't read too much into this last 30 minutes kind of fade. We gapped down. We popped up. We still finished red. We're in a weird spot. That's all I can really say. A lot of times it's like, you want to be the Svengali and kind of say, hey, the market's going to do this, the market's going to do that. But we are just in a weird spot. What I mean by weird spot is that, we had this beautiful uptrend for really a long time. And now this uptrend is still in a trend on a longer term basis and even on an intermediate term basis. But on a short-term basis, right, we have a little bit of, we're in a chop zone. We're above the 50-day moving average, which is your key, I think, because we've been hugging this whole run, right? So this is the key. And we're hugging it. And we're down 3 days in a row, which is usually a good spot to bounce, I think. So if we have a week open tomorrow, we tested the 50-day moving average, we probably should long. But the price action has been nasty, all right? The price action itself has been nasty. What I mean by that is that while the market has been kind of drifting lower for the last handful of days, the individual market has also been getting hit. And what we're talking about is, market breadth. Now, market breadth is not the most important thing in the world because if you're just going to trade, say, for example, Tesla's hot, and all you trade is Tesla, then market breadth doesn't matter. But if you were trading other names, then it matters, right? So you can see here the T2108 is under 18. That's the percentage stocks above the 40-day moving average. The T2107 is a percentage stocks over the 200-day moving average. This to me is a little bit troubling in that there's only 43% of stocks over the 200-day moving average. And you can see this is actually a low from the year. And so you got a lot of stocks that are actually starting to exhibit some level of weakness. Now, some of this can be attributed to the IWM just being a big giant rundy, right? And not doing anything this whole year. So I'm not surprised that, most of the stocks, a majority of stocks are under the 200-day moving average. But it is something to kind of keep an eye on. Now, once again, market breadth doesn't mean as much if you're just sitting there and you're like, man, I'm going to trade, AVGO every day, and I'm going to trade Tesla every day, and, I'm just balls to the wall concentrated in these positions. And things have changed a lot, right? Where people used to have 50 positions or 30%, 20 positions now, right? Pretty much everybody is YOLO and YONO, right? YOLO and YONO, meaning I only got one. And a lot of people live like that. And so the market has changed a little bit. So market breadth may not mean as much as it used to, but we do have something to just be mindful of is that, a lot of stocks kind of stink. Now, let's talk about just the watch list for tomorrow. It's a little bit sparse because it's going to be really dependent on what happens in the overall indexes. Out of the large caps, you have RBRK, I think, is holding up well. Lunar here had an inside day and a little bit of a rest day. If it takes out this range here about 1950, I think this thing rockets, right? Like, you got a big spot here. Aklo, dude. Aklo's looking buenos. Like, you got a breakout here. I think that one could go. If you're a swing trader, I would be watching this AAP. It ain't sexy. It's not some sexy Lexi, but dude, sexy Lexi, man, boy, she was something. Hey, man, she was something. But You got a spot here around 47, 46. You're right in the zone. This kind of pattern has been working a lot. It's been working more on the small ones, but I think this could be something. Hey, natural gas was flying today. Was up 14%. I'm a believer in this EQT. This is I believe the number one largest independently owned, right, natural gas, where like more natural gas is produced than oil. You know, most of the natural gas producers are just oil companies. But this one seems to have a little bit more concentrated action. And you got to pop up and a nice trend on it. Watch this for the breakout. I got a couple natty gas names on my list because, dude, a 14% move, I don't know what even the move was for. You know, I didn't even look. Don't care. 14% is amazing, you know, on natty, on any kind of commodity. So I want to put a couple natural gas. So you could do EOG. SWN was bought up. So I think EQT is just the purest play. RCAT, hey, this drone thing is not going away. So RCAT 15 breakout. Joby. Probably tomorrow's the breakout. Couple down days. Dude, if this has a week open, I'm a buyer of this, right? Week open, I'm probably a buyer of this. ACHR, right, is testing EVT. No, what's the one? EVT. My apologies. Dude. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. I mean, this thing is, it's cooking and booking. And guys, you know, these are obviously very, very low market cap companies, but you have a whole thing. Now, this is low volume, right? So you go Joby. I think Joby's at a good spot. I wouldn't even say gap down. I would rather it hold some structure here and maybe just like kind of test into the 8 spot, small weakness, and I think we try it. One thing I've noticed is that, you know, now that a lot of these smaller stocks have options on them, they're all getting pushed all over the place. You know, you would normally never see, and they're doing so much volume. You would normally never see, look at this, like 2,100. Like you never see these small guys do options, you know, up until really 2024. Like you see this lunar, like, dude, these 19s or 3,000. Like, dude, this is, you know, a small company. And these small companies are doing it. And you're seeing them, like, you know, I was looking at FFIE today for day trade. Dude, this thing did 150 million shares. But, you know, there was a decent amount of options activity. And so I think this is also driving it up. Because now, you know, all these guys that are under the PDT, they can come in and do options and all this kind of fun stuff. So there's something to keep mind of. There's some good looking. These are not. These two are Fugazis. But, like, you know, keep an eye on all these kind of EVT companies. I like Joby. I think that's the easiest one. There's like 5 or 6 of these things that are working. But to work with the Joby, I think that's the good spot. You know, the Pet the Cat is good. And, you know, everything else, I'm not really sure. I know that sounds really stupid, like I should know more answers. But, look, Tesla, they get delivery numbers on Thursday. Most likely, if it tanks tomorrow and the next day, you want to buy it for probably the surprise and the delivery. But that's also a guess, right? Like, that's not really scientific right there, right? You're at the 20 SMA. Maybe a gap down to 400. It's a buy, but I think there's just easier plays. I don't know if that's a long or short. And when you don't know, you don't know. Now, look, this AVGO is something I like, right? This is like, it's still holding at the 9. It's when it's showing weakness, it's like it's been light, right? It's been easy. So I think that's something you can keep. So, you know, AVGO out of the large caps, I like, right? You know, you got TSM, you know, you got still a breakout setting up. Now, we're just not in a market where large caps are going to break out because the QQQ and the SPY are in flux. But you got 4 down days, another weakness down here. Dude, you know, you play it to the upside. I haven't tried the long yet. You know, I tried it on this particular day here, and it tested in, and it reversed immediately. What are you going to fucking do, right? But now, You're getting back in. This 200 spot is probably some support. We'll roll with it and see what's going on. Guys, I love you guys. I know it's a sparse watch list. I just want to say be careful. I don't know what's going on. It could be good. It could be bad. It could just be one of those things where it's just one of those things like you look like 4 days and you're like fuck, I should have bought the dip. That can happen. But, better safe than sorry. I love you guys. Happy fucking New Year. Go out, get drunk, get laid. Make sure you take an Uber and you go out and do the Lord's work. Booyah.